Hello third years, today we are going to do the experiment of separation, chemical separation and physical separation of solid-solid mixture. The requirements for that are test tubes, beaker, funnel, a short stem funnel and a long stem funnel, a evaporating dish and a glass rod, and lastly the sample mixture. I am taking one or two spatulas of sample mixture, you can see here, and I am adding water to it. I shake it. You can see some part of the mixture has gone inside, some has not gone. However, still I filter. And after filtering, I keep the filtrate for boiling. So I am going to add almost of water to it, let it dissolve nicely, and I am going to keep it on the burner and let it get evaporated. I want to check out what is going to be the residue which I am going to get. Okay, you can see here that the filtrate which we have kept in the evaporating dish has started boiling. We will allow the filtrate to boil till all the water is evaporated, because we need to check the residue which is obtained at the end, at the base of the evaporating dish, which will help us to determine whether my compound has to be separated using physical separation or chemical separation. You can see the evaporating dish was filled with the filtrate almost 3/4. The water has evaporated almost half. We will still allow water to evaporate. You can see almost our filtrate, that is water, has evaporated, and only few last traces are remaining. We will allow that also to get evaporated and then check what is the residue which is coming. Here, when the last traces are getting evaporated, few of the compound show us white colored fumes and can create a foul smell around. So that chemical smell can create lot of problems. So it is very important that you show your mask, and remove the burner if at all you think that the solution is getting charred. Okay, so this is our remaining thing which is there in the evaporating dish. The last traces, however, have slightly got charred because I had kept 2 burners at a time. But you can clearly see some kind of white colored powder in the evaporating dish. We will let it cool and then scrap whatever is the residue with the spatula and check whether it is a syrupy mass or whether it is a normal powdered residue. On scraping of all the things, you get some kind of powder here. However, when you touch and check it, it is not a syrupy mass, however a powdery substance, with some of it is charred, however other is a white powder. So which shows that the residue is obtained on evaporation of water, which means that we have to go for physical separation. And because residue is obtained and it is not a syrupy mass, it indicates I have to use the solvent water, because water was able to separate between the two components. One is water soluble, which I can see as a residue, whereas other is water insoluble, which was there on your filter paper while filtering. Taken the sample now and added water to it. On evaporating, in the evaporating dish we got some kind of residue on the evaporating dish, which indicated that we had one water soluble compound, and the filter paper also had some kind of a residue, which says that it may be a combination of water soluble and water insoluble compound, and hence we conclude that we have to go for physical separation with water. So once that is done, we need to determine the nature of the compounds. So to determine the nature, we have again taken small amount of sample, added water to it. We will filter and determine the nature of the water soluble compound. We need to test it using litmus paper. So whatever is the filtrate of the water soluble compound, we will test using the filter paper. So these are our filter papers. This is a pink filter paper, red filter paper and a blue filter paper. We will use a glass rod and check the nature of the water soluble compound. The pink litmus paper, red litmus paper has remained red, whereas blue litmus paper, you can see here, I will show you once again, has turned evidently into red color, which means the compound, which is a water soluble compound, is nothing but a acid. So, however, we do not know whether it is a strong acid or a weak acid, and hence to this we have to add sodium bicarbonate. So we add sodium bicarbonate to it and check whether we get effervescence. So now I am adding slowly. You can see nice effervescence rise in the test tube. So this indicates that our water soluble compound is a strong acid. So the nature of the first compound is detected. Nature of the second compound. So we had taken the sample and added water to it and filtered. However, on the filter paper we had some remnants of the compound. So we take that compound which I received in the filter paper or on the filter paper and check the nature. The first test which we do is to determine whether it is a strong acid or not. So we add sodium bicarbonate to it. So let's see what happens by adding sodium bicarbonate. You can see here that I am getting effervescence in the flask. If I hear properly, I get the effervescence from the water insoluble part. Let us check whether it gets dissolved or not. Let us add some more sodium bicarbonate. And shake nicely. The effervescence are evidently seen. You can see all the component has dissolved in the sodium bicarbonate solution. If the component would not have been dissolved, we would have filtered the solution. However, you can see you have a clear solution with effervescence. Now to check whether the compound is strong acid or not, we will add concentrated HCl into it. To the solution of our NaHCO3 and the insoluble compound, I am going to add concentrated HCl. We are using concentrated solution in the fume cupboard. Let's see what happens, whether I get precipitation. You can see that a nice white color precipitate of water insoluble compound has come up when I add concentrated HCl to the NaHCO3 solution, which means that the water insoluble compound is also a strong acid. So we confirm that both the compounds are strong acids, which we separated using physical separation, and the separating solvent is water. Now for bulk separation, we have to use entire amount of sample which was given to us, take it in a beaker, transfer the entire amount which we have given by our lab assistant in the beaker, and because we know that distilled water is our separating solvent, add water to it and stir using the glass rod. So your water soluble component should nicely go into the water, and your water insoluble component is going to be remaining as it is. So add slight excess so that entire amount of water soluble component has gone into the solution. Nicely shake the solution. And ensure that the entire water soluble compound is going into my solution. So if I have 2 or 3 spatulas, half is water soluble compound, half is water insoluble. So approximately half of my powder should go into the water, and the remaining half, which is a water insoluble part, should be present as an insoluble component in it. A vacuum assembly. This is called as a Buchner funnel, which contains this filtering assembly and a flask which has a pipe by which a vacuum is coming in. So this is the way I open the vacuum. Okay, I just hold it firmly, and whatever bulk separation I had added water to my mixture, I stir it nicely and filter through the Buchner filter paper. So when I filtering, the filtering is easier because of the vacuum, and whatever I get below is my filtrate. You can see some of the remnants of water insoluble compound are there in the beaker. I can add some water to it. I collect all water insoluble part. So my filter paper has all the water insoluble compound, and filtrate which we will have to evaporate again and get our water soluble component.